argument of high school being useful or not being useful has gone on for long enough in my opinion. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you as to why my perspective on high school is that it does not prep you for success and it does not give you the tools to basically become a top 1% person. And I feel like I'm very apt for talking about this since I recently graduated high school a couple months ago. And after speaking to multiple millionaires and a few billionaires as well, I'm going to be debunking a lot of common beliefs that everyone says, like for example, that most millionaires have diplomas. And yes, that is true, but just because they have a diploma does not mean that they actually got the skills from high school in order for them to get to the point on where they are today. Before we get into any of that, I want to lay the foundation and the groundwork for understanding high school and college as a whole. If you don't know, of course, most people do know the story already, is that school was initially brought up to make factory workers by the Rockefellers. Whenever John D. Rockefeller was taking over the oil industry, he needed more workers and he needed more workers. And he decided to implement a form of education where people wouldn't really learn skills. They would learn the necessary skills, but not in order for them to actually be entrepreneurs and capitalists. And kind of funny because John D. Rockefeller was a capitalist, and whenever capitalism is played correctly, we can essentially hit a utopian-like state. Of course, implementing different things, but that's a different topic for a different day. Right now, we need to stay on topic for the school system. And school teaches based off of anecdotes and based off hypothetical situations. And at least from my perspective, I didn't actually get any real world skills from school. Yes, I did learn that 5 minus 2 equals 3. And what was the other thing that I learned in high school? Physics, like basic physics and basic things that you need to not be a caveman. Don't get me wrong, school is extremely useful to giving you basic knowledge. But if you want to be a 1% earner, or if you want to achieve a certain level of what people call success nowadays, you need to learn a lot of forms of specific knowledge. And specific knowledge cannot be taught exactly, and it cannot be taught by one specific person. A great example of this is Warren Buffett whenever he was studying investing. You can't really study any single form of investing. Investing is a multidisciplinary form of action, or it's a multidisciplinary form of skills. So it's basically not just one skill. Same with business. Business is multiple skills stacked into one. So which is exactly why whenever people go to business school, or whenever people go to business schools, I always think about it like, how exactly do you study business directly? Yes, you can learn systems, and yes, you can learn basic math, and you can learn, I guess, what people would call the basics of business. But in reality, I feel like people would be much more suited for actually starting a business and actually, for example, running a lemonade stand. You would learn how to market different prices. You would basically get different shots on goal on trying different, for example, recipes for your lemonade, different forms of marketing, different places to place your lemonade stand, different types of lemon to use, different types of sugar, how much water to use. You would basically get different iterations on understanding your business, in contrast to you trying to break down Nike's business and trying to reverse engineer what they did, which, don't get me wrong, that is a fantastic way of learning as well. But in my opinion, the fastest way of learning and the fastest way of getting to the next level is by actually taking action. And I'm going to be debunking right now. Everyone says that most millionaires and billionaires have diplomas, or that they dropped out of high school. Well, not that basically that they completed college. And I've actually spoken to multiple millionaires in my last year after graduating high school, after being invited to multiple networking events. And yes, a lot of them did go to college. For example, Ken McElroy, a billionaire, he has $3 billion in real estate holdings and runs a huge private investing real estate company. And he told me and multiple people on his YouTube channel as well, he said it, that college does teach you a lot of things, but it doesn't give you the necessary skills for you to achieve success. Same thing with all the millionaires that I've spoken to. They all see the exact same things. Yes, college is good for learning foundational, like basic knowledge skills, but whenever it comes to actually learning hands-on and specific knowledge skills that can actually help you make money, it's not going to give you the required skill set. And you really do not need a college degree to achieve a grand level of success, and it has been proven multiple times by multiple people. There are exceptions. For example, everyone uses Jeff Bezos, or basically the college dropouts. I forgot their names. Everyone knows them though. The ones who dropped out of Harvard. And I don't like using them as examples because they're phenoms. They got into Harvard. It's extremely hard to get into those schools. So in my opinion, if you got into an Ivy League, or if you got into some crazy school, stay there, because you're obviously a phenom. And if you can learn the skills set from a Ivy League school, then you can apply that to whatever form of specific knowledge you want. This is more for people who are in community college, or for more local, not so big colleges. And the main thing that I want people to get is that college isn't necessary for success, and school in total, high school from my example, because I didn't go to college. High school didn't give me the necessary tools to achieve the things that I am achieving today. By no means am I some sort of grandiose billionaire that's a phenom that has a multi-billion-dollar startup, but I am I can confidently say that I am much farther ahead than my other peers who are in their first year of college. And I don't say this as a form of bragging or as a form of rubbing it in people's faces, by no means. But I want to show people that you can do it without high school, you can do it without a diploma. Will it help you? Maybe, if you take the right skills and you implement them properly, but it's really not necessary. And I mean, if you think that college is going to give you the tools and everything that's necessary for you to become a multimillionaire, then you're probably mistaken. And another example of this, probably my last one, is that doctors that are the top earners in their private practices all own their own business. They all own their own private practice. They all own their own consultation firms. So let that sit, let that marinate, and really think if going to college or going to school is the best answer for you. And if you think it is, don't let me stop you. Do whatever you gotta do, but just let this fact marinate in your head and let that sink in, that college might not be necessary, at least for me, same with high school, but don't drop out of high school, that's for sure. Do not drop out of high school. I'm just saying that it's really not necessary. So if you're not some sort of super duper valedictorian that's getting all A's, don't worry, I was the same way. And now I am in a pretty good situation.